We've all been there before, where you're in Sunday school and your teacher says, "All right, class, pull out your scriptures, please." And instead of hearing the thud of Bibles and instead of hearing pages turning, you instead hear the fingernails of your little brother and your best friend on their phones. Some people see something wrong with this picture, but today we would like to argue that that's not wrong. And in fact, there's a different way of looking at this. The development of interactive media over time has allowed religious people to increase their faith through helpful guided study skills and new content being published frequently.
Now, before we give some arguments that are for our thesis, we're going to be covering those arguments that are against us. So many people believe that media is causing religion to lose more power. This is because of the interactivity of the internet. People are more likely to search articles rather than using religious texts to study more about their religion. Some scholars, such as Stig Harvard, also believe that media is taking over religion's functions over guidance and also the community. So, for example, back in the day before the internet, you would go to your bishop or your religious leader to ask advice. Or back in the day, you would go and commune with your friends at a church service. But nowadays, you go to the Holy Google for advice, and you also go to Facebook and Instagram to get a sense of community. And this is all done through P2P sharing. This is because this media's power surge is because of the volume and intensity. This information ocean is basically taking over all of religion's power. Now, what the reality is, according to Fazlur Rahman, is that these P2P or person-to-person file sharing is actually fostering a bigger growth in the community and a deeper understanding of the Muslim religious faith. And this connection is also being experienced between these members of the congregation.
In the study done by Rahman in his article, he found that in Second Life, a simulation very similar to augmented reality or virtual reality, that creating another online world, they found that people of religious faiths were able to feel closer to God on these religious churches that they found on Second Life. And he also mentioned that since the 80s, the internet has been used to discuss religion openly and freely across religions and with those of the same faith.
Another thing that technology has helped to enhance is missionary work. Missionary work has changed drastically from 30 years ago to now. Missionaries nowadays all over the world have access to Facebook, Instagram, virtual scriptures, and church videos that they can instantaneously bring up to share the gospel with their friends. This ability to text and post and share helps to spread the message to a much larger audience as opposed to knocking on individual doors. This has been seen in my own life through my experience in the Germany Berlin mission. It's typically hard to find people to teach and to get them along to the point of baptism. And in a typical year, there's about 60 baptisms. However, throughout COVID and with missionaries having to make the switch to social media and the internet to share the gospel as opposed to going outside, they have seen a large increase in people being taught and are teaching people all over the world, not just in their boundaries, and have taught and baptized over 200 people just in the last few months of COVID.
As stated in our thesis, we truly believe that the development of interactive media can help us as we try to reach our religious goals. We believe that with the information you've learned here, and as we've tried to become more media literate over the course of the last semester, we have an opportunity to make this even truer for ourselves. As we do that, we invite you to review your media behavior and see how it aligns with your religious goals. When you recognize the reality of problems that you could strengthen or areas where you're doing well, also recognize that no matter where you fall on the spectrum, there's always room for improvement. We encourage you to make one change to better align your interactive media use with your religious goals. Some things that we recommend would be to follow a spiritual account. A fun fact about the church is that 10 out of the 12 apostles have either an Instagram or a Facebook that you can follow them on. The church also has many apps with super great features. We recommend downloading those apps, and if you already have them downloaded, trying a feature that you haven't used yet. If you feel like you've done all of those things, first of all, we're impressed. Second of all, we encourage you to share your experience with a friend and invite them to do the same. We recognize that interactive media isn't the end goal of our religious desires, but instead just a means to help us attain what we want most spiritually. We thank you for listening to this presentation and wish you the best of luck in your spiritual goals as you use interactive media.